guys, Ailoupup here, and today I'm bringing to you a review of The Eye of Odin by Dennis Staginnus. I think the back of the book describes it fairly well, so I'm going to read that, mostly because I don't actually know how to describe it myself. On probation for burglary, disliked by everyone at school, and with no memory of his past, 15-year-old Grail Rowan thought his life couldn't suck more than it already did. He was wrong. It was about to get worse. Much worse. On a field trip to the Vancouver Museum, Grail is forced to steal a Viking runestone from the museum's newest exhibit. It would have been an easy job, especially for a master thief like Grail. What he didn't expect was another student, Sarah Finn, tagging along, or the Viking goddess of death showing up to steal the same artifact. Now in a fight for their lives, Grail and Sarah learn the runestone is one of 5 markers describing the whereabouts of the Eye of Odin, a mystical orb said to give its owner infinite knowledge of the past, present, and future. While Grail would love nothing more than to ditch Sarah, he knows he'll have little hope of finding the eye and unlocking his mysterious past without her. Dodging hellhounds, frost giants, and a cannibal hex, the 2 teenagers race from Canada to the frozen reaches of Norway in an effort to recover the remaining runestones. The stakes are clear. Find the markers in time and save the world. Fail and the Viking goddess will use the eye to destroy mankind. This book was a suggestion from a friend of mine who doesn't actually read all that much, but the author was his teacher. He was in school, so he made the suggestion one day when I decided I wanted to go up to chapters. Since I couldn't really find anything that I particularly wanted anyways, I decided to take a look at this book and thought, well, it looks interesting. And the author is his teacher, so I'll get it. And I am definitely happy about my decision. A debut novel that's directed more towards children and preteens, I actually found that I enjoyed it immensely. Staginnus has a kind of simplistic style of writing that I felt really fit the story, the direction of his writing. It's not simplistic enough that it would be uninteresting to an older reader, but it's also not descriptive enough that a younger reader would have a hard time following or would lose interest. What I find with some books is that they have these big long paragraphs that just aren't interesting and are hard to get through. This doesn't do that. It also has a fair bit of dialogue too, so I think that helps a fair bit. For a person interested in mythology and history and all that, I enjoyed the Viking theme that this book had, and just the Norse legends in general. To be honest, I haven't read a whole lot based around mythology, but that is probably one of the reasons why I enjoyed this as much as I did, and it just feels very well researched. The 2 main characters are Grail Rowan and Sarah Finn. Grail is a kind of selfish character who really does things more for himself than for her, and while he does think of her occasionally, when he does do things for her, it's mostly by accident, as he does things more for his own personal gain, and sometimes in the process it just so happens that he helps her as well. There really is only one time that I can think of that he helps her without actually needing to help her, and that is he really could have just let her fend for herself, but he goes back for her anyways. As for Sarah, I found that she's a very strong character, a very loyal character. She's willing to do her part whatever it takes, and she trusts Grail more than she probably should. She trusts him to do the right thing and believes that in the end he will stop working for himself and do things more for others. I love these 2 as characters, and I think they work well together. In fact, I actually kind of hope that they'll get together as a couple. There were points where I thought that maybe Sarah had feelings for Grail, but I am hopeful that it might happen. I am always hopeful. I loved this book from start to finish, and I'm excited for the next book, which should be coming out later this year, I think is what I read. I have given this a 5 out of 5. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more book-related videos from me.